It's like for those who save up like 50,000 points, like spend that and like resurrect a dead character.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
BQ somehow manages to grow back his arms and legs and his head.
Yes, in his head.
Yeah, we were talking about how I have a lot of points, and they were saying we should have some like super uber reward.
Yeah, like if you spend 50,000 points instead of 2,000, you can resurrect a character who just died or something.
Gotcha. That'd be interesting. I don't know if I want to go that far, because that means I would have to ratchet up the death rate in all the games too.
Oh no!
To make it worth it, I mean.
Yeah, good point.
No sense in having that reward level if there's really no threat of character death. So
true.
Well, there's always a threat of character death. I mean, my character walks that line.
Add an S to that.
Characters? No,
yeah, it's plural.
Only one. Only one character. This one doesn't walk the line of death.
Oddly enough, I'm okay with character death because I always have ideas. So it just means I get to try new stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we are back. We are live once again for Marvel Superheroes Modern Age Heroes. Obviously been doing some thinking, and one of the nice things about having artistic vomit when I get to text, when I'm writing my notes, sometimes I'll write too much for one game, and I'm like, I can hold off on some of that. So it helps out in the long run when that happens. So that being said, we've decided who's doing notes and who is going to do the recap tonight.
I took the notes last time. I can do the recap.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and give us a recap
this week.
So,
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last game, we were getting ready for the meeting with Senator Miles Barrett to plead for the legality of the interdimensionals. We found out that Billy is not a morning person, and that Kenny G is an effective alarm clock for both him and Shion.
Truth.
So, there is truth there.
So Shion teleported the group to DC at 7:30 Mountain Time, equating to 9:30 Eastern Time, making us late to the meeting. But we walked up to hear a heated discussion with Meredith and the Senator. Meredith was yelling about the Justice Legion, and the Senator was bringing up other groups like Legacy and the Sentinels. We had found out that there was no progress towards the lunar base because the Senator states that he tried with but the U.S. refuses to work with New Prussia. He advises finding a potential POTUS president to back in the next election, which is in 2 years. The Senator says that he has cards up his sleeve, quote unquote, saying that his assistance would need to be covert and without the U.S. government knowing. There's a Texas business to manufacture supplies that he has in contact with. There were questions of jurisdiction on the moon, possibly to get the Office of Space Affairs to overlook some things. And then we also mentioned getting some anti-gravity and interspace travel tech assistance from the Legacy. The Senator was able to acquire legal occupation for the interdimensional beings, including Billy. But that, as a side note, that does not include aliens, including Ixion or Shion. Meredith thinks that the Justice Legion was a big part of the U.S. denying help. We found out that there's a significant force of Russians in Transnistria, and Meredith emphasizes caution. She also proposed a super base integrating the Sentinels and the Legacy, but with us still keeping our separate base and our own separate entity, just having a common area for where we work together. The Angler stayed in DC after the team teleports back to the vein. Shortly thereafter, we ended up going to Coveria to contact Baron Damocles. we found that we had a gauntlet of his acquired by Electrum, good old daddy, to give as an olive branch to the Baron. We had also talked that Helios has a link to Ixion's ship, and we talked of increasing the ship's interface safety protocols. And then we were on our way to Kovaria. The Kovarian city, Nowy Targ, sits between Slovakia and Poland. It's ruled by Baron Damocles, and he was instrumental in fending off the Germans at the end of World War II. The world views him as a villain, but citizens like him. He's very militaristic in his rule. As we approached the area, Ixion's ship is brought to a dead stop upon reaching Kovarian airspace and greeted in the sky by an Iron Man-esque being. To be found out that that was Baron Damocles. He has evidently Magneto-type powers. We were all patted down, and all effects were confiscated and brought to the throne room. The Baron wants info about the aliens in return for information about Transnistria. As we were conversing with the Baron, Lightbringer felt someone distressed or worried and determines that the person is in a lower level, perhaps a dungeon. We found out it is a North Korean, and we wanted to assist said North Korean. Damocles wants 10 of the hard drives that we're creating and 10 med scanners. He also asked of Senia and spoke of the Nazi presence in Argentina and the SPB trafficking. Any information, and through that he also offers that if we end up toppling or if we could topple the regime of Transnistria, having full access to Kovaria, and he offered for us to perhaps set up a branch of Quantum Unlimited there. And he would put us in touch with Moldova. We as a team, we discussed the offers. We debated the options to topple the Transnistrian government. We were conversing with Angler via comm. He's still in DC at that current point in time, but he voices his concerns with the potential ties to the Baron. We found out that the North Korean's name is Han Namawiki, and he tried to escape North Korea and was extracted by slavers. We explained that we negotiated his freedom to him, and he's trying to get to the U.S. Upon scanning, he tests positive for the deviant gene with possible magnetism or metal manipulation powers. And then we were given rooms in the castle for the night, and the Baron treated us to a feast. Elfine.
Cool. So where we're going to pick up first off then, so it is still the same day with last week.
Have we had the feast yet?
Not as of yet. So Justin, the angler was wanting to talk to the director of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, Heroes Feast. Yep. So then, presumably, you at this point are back in DC, going to the going back to the museum, looking her up.
Yes, he's seeing if she's still in town or if she's available. He understands that she might be busy.
Yeah, 1 second.
And unlike some of his other siblings, he is not the center of the universe in his own head.
Where did I put that note?
What are you implying, sir?
There we go. Okay.
I'm implying Current and Deep Sea think they're the center of the universe.
Yeah. That's because they are. Tell that to their soaring popularity.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head to the museum at this point. Presumably, are you in superhero gear at this point, or are you as you and Civies?
Civvies.
Okay.
She's to my knowledge, she's only interacted with him as well, everyone knows that he's the angler at this point, so it doesn't matter if he goes as civilian or in costume. Being in casual clothes is much more comfortable.
Okay, that's fine. So you head to the museum. It's a slow day at this point. It's still early afternoon at this point, so we're talking. Or I should say late morning. So not much going on first thing at the museum. But you walk in, check in with somebody at the front desk, and yeah, I mean she's here.
Is there a possibility I could have a conversation with her? I don't know how busy she is today.
Well, let me check. So he, pardon me. They buzz through at this point and says, and I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
It's Freddy Fingers.
And he looks at you kind of funny for a second, like that didn't sound quite right. And so he says, and he picks up the phone and buzzes through and he says, "There's a Mr. Fingers here for you." No, that's literally what he said his name was. What is this in regards to?
I was seeing if we could talk about some Atlantean research.
Okay, so he relays that, and he says, "Did you have an appointment for this, or this was just stopping by?"
Just stopping by. I was in the neighborhood.
So he relays that to it, and he says, "Okay, I guess she's available for about 10 minutes or so." So he points in the direction of her office.
Good. He'll go in. Good morning, Director Wilson. How are you doing today?
She's in the process of straightening up out her desk at this point, but she says, "I'm fine, Mr. Did I hear that right? Fingers?"
Yeah. Maybe we've
Okay.
had conversations before. I think I was just in costume then.
A costume. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank.
I'm the angler.
Why don't you go ahead and roll your popularity?
Well, we've had conversations before.
Okay, roll your popularity.
All right. Where did that tab go? Stupid Windows 11 not having...
Yeah.
Roll. And my popularity is a GD. That is going to be yellow, sir.
Okay. So she says, "Oh, right. I'm sorry. I've been really busy with a lot of things, and the name kind of slipped me. Atlantean. What's your interest in Atlantis?"
Remember how we were having the conversation about the Dreamscape Pearl, I want to say about a week ago?
I recall. I'm not exactly an expert, but I recall some of the conversation. Didn't I direct you to somebody towards the West Coast?
You did, but I happened to be in town dealing with some issues, and I was seeing if you'd heard anything as well. I don't know if you had a department for Atlantean research here as well.
No. We don't have anything like that here. We don't really. Finding experts on that is pretty difficult. They are a reclusive society and seem to typically only speak through, from my understanding, Prince Tidebreaker, or occasionally the UN when something's wrong or whatever have you. Again, I'm not an expert, so I apologize.
Oh, it's all right. I figured if Prince Tidebreaker was a cultured man, he would stop by here every now and then just to see what we have on display as well.
Oh, well, I mean, it would be nice, but again, we don't exactly have a major display of any kind, and we're not really the biggest museum around. So I would imagine he'd probably be more apt for the Smithsonian, or maybe.
You undersell yourself. But
Well,
I understand. Well, I did want to thank you for giving me the leave to speak with the professor. He was actually able to identify a little bit better.
oh, good.
If you'd like, if you have a chance, I could take you out to lunch or something like that, just as a reward to say thank you.
She says, I wouldn't mind that under normal circumstances, but I am extremely busy right now. And I do apologize. But we have a number of things going on at the museum right now, and I've been asked to double check something. I believe the last time you were here, that device that you saw, we have some people from the government stopping by to take a closer look at that.
If you'd like, I can hang around for a bit if you'd like.
I don't know if you have the security clearance for it. It's one of those things.
Best thing about secret and top secret clearance, even if you have the clearance, if you don't need to know, you gotta go.
Pretty much, yeah.
He'll put his hand out. Well, thank you so much again for your time. Maybe next time I'm in DC, I can take you out for lunch or breakfast or bring you tacos or something like that, just to say thank you.
Okay, that sounds fine. I appreciate it. Call ahead, though, next time. My schedule has really backed up on me, and in a surprising way. But sure, of course. And she shakes your hand.
I'm probably going to take a look around and then head out. Thank you so much again for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Thank you again for stopping by.
And
Hold that
I
thought.
have a question.
Hold that thought. 1 second. Be right back.
Does anybody know which device he was talking about? Justin does not remember.
I'm trying to remember if he's not talking about the Pearl.
I remember there was a device, but I don't remember what it was.
If they're talking about, oh no, wait.
Some alien language thing. Let's see. Oh, it might have been like an interstellar communicator kind of thing. Let me check my notes.
I mean, there was the thing that we dealt with a long time ago where we copied that Ildirian communicator, and that's why the Vane has that communication ability now, because we reverse engineered that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Output is possibly the communicator.
I have that it is a long-range communication device.
Good job, Dale.
Thank you.
I don't remember where it came from, though.
I don't think they knew themselves where it came from.
Oh, yeah, it was something that was on display. That's what it was.
Okay, and I think I understand. Yeah, that the Ildirians, they're the same ones who provided the technology and sent it to Earth that turned Collapsing Star into Collapsing Star. Maybe that was the same device that crash landed a long time ago.
Intriguing.
Okay, I'm back.
After he is done, he will go ahead. He'll see himself out, thank her again, and he's going to hit up his favorite pizza joint, have himself a pie, and then fly home.
Alrighty.
Because I doubt he's going to randomly bump into the Justice Legion while he's here.
No. No, they have a very full schedule.
And going directly to their place would be suicide. that is tantamount to as walking into new pressure for him.
Okay, fair enough then. So you rocket off into the sky from there and head back to Strongford. And at which point in time you would be having that conversation with them mid-flight regarding what they found out in Coveria.
Okay.
All right, so fast forward to that, picking up where we left off. Your feast it's one of those, like you would imagine those long spreads on a table that royalty partook, back in the Middle Ages and whatnot. So like at the very middle would be like a boar, maybe a turkey, and then there's like stuffing and decor and whatnot around it, and then there was like several plates of additional sides or other goods that you can put on there. And basically servants come by and you ask them what it is that you want, and they just scoop it onto a plate for you and present it to you. Like you're not allowed to touch any of the food. It's all served for you.
Does Han, the North Korean, order 3 or 4 helpings for himself?
He's actually not here for this. He's this is for honored guests. He doesn't rank that way. But he hasn't been put in a cell again. He's just off at this point, off to the probably in his room, and just given something to eat from there.
Okay.
And Baron Damocles sitting at the head of the table in like this regal looking throne, of a chair, hand carved wood with, metal inlays here and there, like no expense spared whatsoever.
Yeah, Shone feels quite at home at the moment because she's used to this kind of service from where she came from.
Okay.
Yeah, Hyperion's sitting there, obviously with no food in front of him. He'll just politely decline any offering of that, of course.
Carmen will be tentatively sampling.
Okay. And I take it. What about Billy? Billy is muted. Yeah, I don't hear him at all. Nope.
Yep.
Don't hear you. So Billy is metal for the time being.
How ironic, coming from the character with sonic powers.
Yeah, I know.
Right, yeah.
He's muted
And
himself.
I am sitting there as well without eating because it's toxic.
Gotcha. So while we wait for Billy to work out his sound issues,
Try
We could
exiting
Sign
and coming
language.
back in.
it's showing that it has a microphone Razer USB sound card right now. But it doesn't seem to be coming up correctly because we can't hear him.
1, 2, 3. XYZ.
Nope.
Nope.
You're probably going to have to back out and come back in and reselect your mic. So while we're waiting on Billy to come back, so the Baron at this point sees that 2 of you are not eating. It's hard to make out his facial expressions because they're always behind that faceplate. But let's check to see if we've got Billy yet. Nope, still nothing.
Like you can hear us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Have you
I know
tried
it's
turning
just
it off and on again?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we have to do to mainframe. We just have to catch them.
Have you checked your user settings to make sure you're on the right microphone?
Like it just switched on them because we were hearing them before.
Mm-hmm.
An angler, you just got a reroll from Davey, so make sure to mark that down.
Awesome. Thank you, Davey.
So then the Baron looks to the two of you and in kind of a disgruntled tone, he says, "You do not eat. Is my food not good enough for you?"
I apologize, Baron. Two of us, as you can see, Xenofreeze and myself, don't actually consume either this type of food or any food at all. For myself, I require no sustenance, and for Xenofreeze, his sustenance needs to be particular.
It is due to my SPB status, if you will. My genetics prevent me from eating normal food. I mean no insult.
Interesting. You'll have to tell me about that sometime. So have you come to a decision about Transnistria?
Yes, we are willing to take on your offer and challenge of uprooting the regime that has taken control to provide that country back to the Moldovans.
Good. This is a good task you undertake. The communism is not only dirty word, but it is dirty practice.
It's likely that we would have needed to actually interact with them in that way in order to actually stop the Ubari as it was. Therefore, honestly, it seems like the most efficient and ethical thing to do.
Well, however you come about it is fine by me, but one less thorn inside is good enough. And these Ubari, you said they are aliens from beyond our planet, yes?
That's correct. They seem to be a mercenary type race who is at odds and been at war with the Tavaxians, another alien race. The Tavaxians have been handily winning, but the Ubari have made their way onto our planet, at least a handful of them, in order to weaponize superpowered beings in Russia to at least work against the Tavaxians. There may be more to it, but that's what we know so far.
That is interesting. It would make sense as to why we see the increase in military throughout the former Russian states. I think we can hear Mike.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was a system. It was a system thing. My entire system just threw out my Yeti microphone. So I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Well, you're back now.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we don't need that anymore.
And so I take it Billy is partaking of the food, or no?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Billy's eating the food and he's probably trying to help himself because he's not ever experienced this kind of service.
Okay.
And so he's like, well, I'll just get, all right. Okay. You know, like he's
Gotcha.
completely out of sorts.
Cool. No problem. He
He
says,
also probably looks really stiff because he feels like he should be actually proper or something, and he has no experience with that either.
Gotcha,
So
yep.
he's probably like,
Not shown. She's like feeding her face.
those of you who are actually eating, it is the portions are obviously big, and it is on the level of like what you would imagine a pro chef, a top-notch chef preparing sort of thing. Which makes sense for those of you who have any degree of etiquette. You would know that, when you lay out this type of spread, you don't spare any expense. You make sure everything is, tip top. You don't hire people who are going to cut corners. So it was extravagant for a reason.
Yeah, Sean will fill up one hollow leg, and she's working on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Sean, you apparently got a reroll too, if you didn't know that already. So that was from Davey.
Davey.
He's just doling them out.
Right.
And so he says this SPB program that the aliens are doing with these Russians. What else do you know?
Beyond that, there may be... Well, let me first ask you, have you heard of a being named Mainframe?
No, I do not know of this being. Should I know of a being named Mainframe?
He is relatively new on the scene. He is, admittedly, a creation of ours. But however, his logic was flawed. And instead of still being a part of our team, he has gone rogue. He is effectively a computer intelligence who now has control of a robotic body and has been attempting to deal with individuals in an unfortunately ruthless way. He may actually be at Transnistria as well. We have contacts that tell us that there have been a significant number of mechanical and electronic devices moving through Transnistria, and that may indicate that he's there, perhaps interacting with the Russians, the Ubari, or both. Something else we'll have to determine.
And this Mainframe, you said computer intelligence, he came from your team. I believe I've seen this movie before. Did you happen to create the Skynet?
No, nothing quite as devastating, fortunately. But he seems to have a type of mindset that would gear him towards going against supervillains, or what he would consider a supervillain, or more specifically, a war criminal. But instead of trying to apprehend, he has been attempting to assassinate them instead. It's unclear what his ultimate goal is.
So you are aware that the world deems me a supervillain, so you come to my table and tell me you have created this robotic monster who is now hunting me.
As you can imagine, this was not intentional on my part. I take full responsibility in the grave error, and the moment we can find him will be the moment we attempt to apprehend him and stop him. But with your power, I wouldn't be too concerned. He is relatively new in his abilities. But if you do have any type of advanced computer networks or anything that you or your country uses, you may want to make sure that it's safe and secure. He is rather adept at hacking computer networks.
Well, the rest of my people, they do not have these things, but I do, so I will take that under advisement. Do me the express favor that the next time you decide to experiment in this fashion, you would drop me a line and say, "Warning."
Will
Would be
do.
much appreciated.
Of course.
You just don't have to let Angler have a conversation with it about the nature of
Because
good
out
and
of
evil.
out of character. Because we tight like that, homie.
Warning.
We got you.
So, rest of the dinner kind of goes without a hitch, provided you're partaking of it, of course. The night comes, everybody is seen to their rooms. If there's nothing else that you're going to do, then we'll just carry on to the next day. The guys have a nice sleep. The beds are, again, they're not ever really used because he doesn't entertain, but because he was entertaining, these are perhaps some of the softest and best bedding that you could have ever laid in. Again, spare no expense. The castle, however, doesn't have central air or heating. So there are like small little heating units that operate in the in your specific rooms. So that is a little bit of a difference. No phones or anything of that nature. There's no obviously built-in closets or anything. They're all furnishings that sit along the wall and whatnot. But next morning rolls around. Guards, of course, come by to collect all of you. Han is with you as well at this point. He has been given a change of just basic clothing. So he culturally looks completely out of place here in the middle of Europe. But clothing-wise, it fits. So he's just got some like ragged clothing that, anybody probably could have hand sewn together. It's nothing fantastic, but it's certainly better than the dungeon rags that he had on before. And you are then escorted out to the airfield to await the Baron, who then flies down from the skies in a moment. He then tells you that you will need to he tells you what hold on one second. I forgot. There we go. I forgot the capital of Moldova. I can't pronounce that. So everybody's going to hear me click on a link real quick. Pronounce this word. Here we go.
It's that place Bruce Willis and John Malkovich went
Chisinau.
to at the end of Red.
Chisinau.
Chisinau. That is the capital of Moldova, and of course,
Gesundheit.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Posted that in the Facebook chat for anybody who needs to read the notes. But yeah, at that point, he told you that in order to reach the individuals that you're going to need to reach, you will just need to make yourselves known in their capital city. And at some point, you will likely be greeted by their state's hero, negotiate from there. And I'm sure they, as he indicates, I'm sure that they will take it from there, given the fact that this has been an ongoing problem for them. So it's nothing so glamorous or whatnot, but he tells you specifically, where to go and who to look for. And the name of the individual is the Crimson Soldat.
Soldat?
Crimson.
Yep, Crimson Soldat.
Then Hyperion will thank him for his hospitality and information, so that they can then head off.
And with that, you lift off, from the area. And doing so, of course, you get a nice bird's eye view of the land and whatnot. And again, it's almost like right around 1948, everything probably stopped aging. All the buildings here look still fairly old. The tech outdated, but weathered and still operational. But you lift off and fly off towards Moldova, which isn't terribly far. from where you're at. Let's see. There's Moldova, and you guys are over here. So we're talking. Probably going to take you about with the craft that you guys are in, maybe 3 hours.
Okay.
Where's my ship?
You're in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
using-
okay.
If you're asking where your ship is, you guys are all in trouble.
Right.
I thought for a second, I don't know why I was thinking that like we were in something else.
No.
Because just the way you said in the craft that you're in. So
It's like when you lose your glasses, but they're on top of your head.
Right.
Oh, that's a favorite.
Xeno Freeze is looking around. It's like, where's my ship? And everyone just kind of looks at him. And he's like, oh, right, we're standing in it. But 3 hours later, flying over most of Europe at that point,
3-hour tour.
from actually exiting Slovakia and then part of Ukraine, you eventually come to Moldova. Moldova itself, especially the area you guys are flying to, since there's no stealth, you guys are probably going to want to negotiate how you do this. But the town itself, with the exception of the fact that it's Eastern Europe in look and feel, it has the feeling of a lot of bigger cities you would imagine on the East Coast of America. So there, a lot of streets, a lot of older buildings, but then interspersed with like a lot of rows of trees and a lot of greenery and whatnot around. So it's when it hits the right times or the right, I don't say seasons. There we go. It's going to give beautiful displays of changing color, from the leaves. But for the most part, Moldova, or where you're at, I still got it pulled up. I still need it. So 1 second.
Kishinev.
Kishinev. And of course, that pronunciation can be heard on the stream. So there you go.
Nice.
You know it like I know it. Kishinev. What was I going to say? Oh no. So Kishinev. There a lot of green trees. It's cleaned up. Looks. One of the interesting things about Europe, when if you look at it in real life, even if it's been modern and up to date, it still has an old world feel about it. A lot of the buildings still, because they're old. If they haven't been blasted to Kingdom Come from World War II. They are, they have a very old feel. So this is all old Europe looking, but there are some buildings here that look like they're a little bit more modernized. So it is much different than what you saw when you were in Coveria, where kind of time stopped. Time here may be a little outdated, but it doesn't. You don't see people, hauling carts around. On the regular, you've got people with cars. There's clear signs of telephone poles and lines connecting. So it's much more on the modern side.
All right. Then, as we're approaching Kishinev, Hyperion would get on the radio so that not ours, but using the ship, and try to communicate to authorities in Kishinev and go, Kishinev airspace control. This is the Legacy. You may notice us on your radar. We are trying to make contact with the Crimson Soldat.
So there's a bit of a delay at that point because you're broadcasting on open frequency. and then eventually somebody comes on with English enough to communicate, and they basically tell you unidentified ship, stay your course, and await further orders.
Understood. And we, of course, maintain course.
So then you end up seeing this rather large 7-foot-ish armored looking individual come flying up into the sky, rockets blaring off the back. Got like, this like gun pod thing kind of coming off the side. It looks like it's actually equipped with perhaps some sort of chainsaw on one arm. It's got, obscene looking like blasters off of another. It's got chest guns. It's bulky, and it looks like there is a weathered and perhaps even sanded section where it looks like the hammer and sickle might have been at one point in time, like square, chest wise or whatnot, and. Just a little.
That looks very much like BattleTech went through its emo phase.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it does have a chainsaw, so it can cut itself.
Oh, God.
Ba-dum-psh.
So it flies up in roughly where it would probably anticipate seeing the windshield of this vehicle, even though it's not something you can see on the vessel that you guys are in. And you hear an open broadcast in a little bit better English at this point. This is a Crimson Soldat. Identify yourself.
So Hyperion responds, "This is the Legacy. We are from the United States. However, we're trying to accomplish something in the nearby location of Transnistria. And we've been told that you'd be willing to provide us with at least some aid in the form of information so that we can attempt to deal with the problem you have with the regime in that area."
Roll your popularity at a 0.
Doing it again. Okay.
Can we turn off the sound bites or whatever it is in the background, please?
Yeah, I'm
It's
trying.
called a ferret.
Let's see here. Okay, roll shift 0. Green feet.
Wow.
So there is a pause of reflection as it's clear they're probably weighing whatever it is that you're asking, and then then you see Crimson Soldat, motion off the side. He says, "You will go to nearby airport and land your vessel."
Understood. And so, maneuvers along with Ixion to head to that location.
Friendly bunch.
Done. Or doing.
Well, I suppose this international sort of operation is pretty strange for this part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you're flying over the actual very beautiful city. Oops.
Kishinev.
Kishinev. Still don't know that one. That's going to be a tongue twister for me. Maybe if I think Swedish chef.
Phonics do not help with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Kishinev.
Like, whoa.
Well, I'm sure the phonics would help if you spoke some variant of Romanian,
Right.
Yeah.
but that's nowhere near close to what I rock. So
What?
so, but at any rate, but the town or the city itself is very beautiful. coming over to a nearby airport. Looks like the airfield at one point in time may have been. It's not. It doesn't appear to be a commercial airfield. It looks like it was probably one that was used for the smaller aircraft of like World War II. So it's just kind of a level cut field with some old buildings nearby, but it's a little bit tucked away from the city itself. But you bring your vessel down, and you can see that the Crimson Soldat lands not far from your vessel. And as you guys are landing, you can hear helicopters coming in.
Okay. And Hyperion is going to turn to Lightbringer and go, it may seem obvious at this point, but would you be able to make sure to use your empathy on those around us to see if their hostilities begin to flare and warn us if they do?
Sure. Yeah, I'll monitor that.
Excellent. As for the rest of us, of course, as before, like in Coveria, on our best behavior and etiquette, we need to make sure that we can provide the best face and get the best information from him as possible. Any questions before we head out?
In case that they do become hostile, do you want me to teleport us directly back to the vein?
We would teleport to this ship so that we can then attempt to leave. We may need to do something else beyond that, but we'll keep that in mind. The first goal would be to reclaim the ship and then leave if necessary.
I wonder if I could teleport the ship with us in it. Because it would not do us any good to be shot out of the sky.
Understandable. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Hopefully, we can put our best foot forward here and gain their assistance rather than their ire.
Agreed.
All right. Excellent. Let's head out. So then Hyperion will open the doors and head outside onto the tarmac.
I'm in suit.
So is everybody exiting, or is it just you two?
Billy will follow.
Okay.
Yeah. Presumably all of us.
Okay. So the five of you exit at this point, and you can see helicopters are flying in at this point, and they're actually dropping off additional soldiers.
So they're not attack helicopters; they're personnel.
Yeah, they're transport. I mean, you can see that there are more coming in, which will probably be attack helicopters.
Are they armed? The men?
Oh, absolutely.
They're
Okay.
soldiers, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This sounds like a good place to do an empathy check.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage.
Okay. Yellow.
Nice.
Hmm.
So it's clear that there is a person piloting the Crimson Soldat. They are concerned, and you get the feeling that they're riding their trigger finger at this point. The soldiers are terrified.
Jeez. Okay.
I will relay this over the comms.
And
Admittedly, y'all did arrive in an extraterrestrial ship.
right. And Hyperion is going to respond subvocally. This would make sense, especially with those who are not empowered. They are going to view us as significantly more powerful. We should all do what we can to keep everyone here at ease.
Out of character, Ixion's going to make snow cones.
Start handing them out. Here you
Snow
go,
cones?
everybody.
Everyone smile.
Billy's going to create soothing music.
Oh, so Kenny G.
Sean could-
Sure, why not?
yeah, as we get blown to bits.
Mhm.
Yes, Sean will take on a more relaxed posture.
Okay. So roughly at this point, 30 soldiers have, jumped out at this point, and they've got they don't have their guns trained on you, but they do have them out and ready to fire at any given moment. There's another truck that comes flying up. This whole process has been taking like about 30 minutes at this point, as people are getting in position and getting it to a level that they feel comfortable enough to engage, is the best way to put that. And the civilian truck comes rolling in, and some guy climbs out. Nice. Looks like he probably has a nice suit, but he's actually throwing on the suit coat and whatnot, because of course you caught them all by surprise. And he's adjusting his tie as he comes walking up, and he kind of motions to the Crimson Soldat, and he says, and he looks to the group and he says, "I speak for Moldova. Who are all of you?"
And so Hyperion will step forward and say, "Yes, I am Hyperion, leader of the Legacy. We've come here primarily to seek aid on trying to overthrow the regime in nearby Transnistria. We have a mutual enemy, it would seem, one that's actually not of this world. But in order to get to them, we see that we will need to actually help to reclaim Transnistria for the Moldovans."
And so he, looks kind of surprised. He's looking around and he starts like motioning with his hands, and he says, "Good grief, man! You don't speak about something like this in the middle of a public square." He's like, "The Russians, they have eyes and ears everywhere. Ugh." And so, he turns and looks to the Crimson Soldat, and you see that the head unit kind of move, and he says, "Is it common for you Americans just to come into our country and just say, 'Hey, we're here to overthrow something'?" You must forgive. We don't have a lot of your TV here.
That's probably more common than it should be.
Billy is actively
to be
trying
honest.
to stifle a laugh.
Yeah. I do apologize for the abruptness of our arrival. But seeing as how we had no formal channels of communication with those we needed to speak to, we found that arriving in a non-hostile manner would be the best way to approach this. I apologize if speaking openly amongst your soldiers was against your security protocols. We'll make sure not to do that in the future. But be that as it may, can we aid you? And would you be willing to assist us in this endeavor as well?
Boy, you Americans sure like to drop things in somebody's lap. He looks around and he says, my name, shoot, pulled up the wrong screen. My name is Mr. Agadate. Do you have some way of hiding this sleek-looking vessel that you've come? I worry someone might come by and try to spray paint it. Or investigate when they shouldn't be.
If need be, we can actually send it remotely to a different location, so it's not here, and then recall it later. We don't have a way of forcing it to become invisible or something of that nature.
Because of course you can. Okay. Clearly. So
What, you can't do that with yours?
he speaks in another language to some of the soldiers, and they start radioing it in. He says, for the time being, it will be guarded here at this current position. I am calling in more soldiers to watch out for it. The five of you, that's all there is?
Currently, yes. There may be a sixth if we need to call upon them. But for the time being, it's what you see here.
Oh, let me guess. You must have some new Prussian technology where you just snap your fingers, person appears. Yes?
Actually, a ability that mimics that technology. But
Because of course
something
you do.
similar.
Sean's just gonna kind of just,
She's up there like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmen is also whistling.
Kind of do the whistle, looking around, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Billy
oopsie.
looks over at Hyperion and like, I like this guy.
He says, "Come. You must travel in back of truck for time being. We take you to undisclosed location away from prying eyes of former Soviet Union."
Of course, lead the way.
So he takes. I mean, it's not comfortable. It's literally the back of a truck, but it's enclosed at least.
Oh, at least we're not blindfolded.
Yeah.
Billy actually looks quite at home here.
I mean, honestly, at that point, you guys already, in retrospect, you showed your ass by flying up in this super high tech, nobody's ever seen before ship and said, "Can we land?" Basically. So it's like at this point, there's like, what's the point in blindfolding? I mean, they probably have something that can just teleport it off or whatever.
You could probably see without the blindfold.
Exactly. So it's like.
Of course they can.
we're
Yeah, of course.
we're rolling up on Neanderthals in like a tank and nuclear weapons, and we're like,
but
hey, how's it going?
they're basically self-aware primitives. So it's like they understand that this is really high tech that they don't have access to.
Right.
So they're just like that's why he's like, but of course you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it takes you off site. The building is nondescript. It's an older section of town. It doesn't look like a government building, by any means. When they get you and he sees you inside, really it just looks like it was an old cottage. It just isn't in any use.
I'll be right back.
But he takes some time. Speaking in Romanian to some of his people, just probably double checking the security and whatnot, and then and then shortly thereafter you end up hearing some like fizzle and snapping sounds of kind of like active electricity rolling off of something, and you see Crimson Soldat materialized nearby.
Materialize. All
Yeah.
right.
Nice.
So, in a way of, well, I mean, it's more stealth technology than like teleportation.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but he's like staying near the backyard of this particular location, and so he's in there, and he's got somebody else with him. So, by the way, Mr. Agadati, closer to the later stages of midlife, so probably in his 50s, got some gray, got like the full facial beard, but like many people, looks like his build, he's probably got dropped into politics, probably worked a lot through his life. He's got kind of that husky kind of build that a lot of Europeans had that came up in a harder, probably farmer style, life, or steel worker or something of that nature. So
Jerome,
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of something. Where's our
Uh-oh.
new friend?
In the ship.
Oh, we left him in the ship? Okay.
At this point, yeah, that's all you could have done.
Yeah.
Did we tell him not to touch anything?
No,
Yeah, because we didn't tell
Not
them
like
about.
he-
Because we just said it was just us. We didn't tell them that there was a.
he also
Like
doesn't
it.
speak English.
Right.
True. Okay.
Or Romanian.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, so he's, so at that point when everybody is relatively certain that there's no prying eyes currently on the location. So he, so again, he reiterates, he's like, I don't understand. Why did you just show up in the middle of our country and just start asking about revolution?
I'll be right back.
It is a complicated tale, but I'll simplify it for brevity's sake. There is trouble afoot, of course, in Transnistria beyond simply the regime that controls it. We are trying to stop aliens who appear to have taken control of that area as well and are interacting with the Russians of the area by using SPBs as weapons versus other alien invaders. Have you heard of the Tavaxians that are in orbit of our world?
What's a Tavaxian? Is that like some new kind of gypsy?
Not exactly. They are aliens from another world, as well as the Ubari, who are another race of aliens from a different planet. They're both here in Russia. They're fighting each other, and they're trying to use human beings as their weapons. We know that something of this sort is happening within Transnistria, and they may be in league with the illegal regime that's there holding your people. We received some of this information from Baron Damocles recently.
Oh, that
actually-
explains so much.
He indicated we should come to you and seek out assistance in this Transnistrian affair.
The Baron sent you to us.
Correct.
I did not expect that. A xenophobic little pricky that he is. Okay.
Billy straight up laughs at that. Like just
So-
one of those one sound laughs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, ha!
Yeah.
So he's scratching his head and he says, you Americans, you have this saying. It's from old show. Has a bunch of unrelated children that got married to separate husband and wife. It's a I don't know. It's the gaggle.
Are you referring to the Brady Bunch?
Aye, yes, the
Okay.
Brady Bunch. See, for us, it's like Brady Bunch. See, on the show, everything is Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. To us, everything is Russia, Russia, Russia. Every problem we seem to have, they have hand in. So I am not surprised this alien problem it is at our doorstep because of Russia. Because of course it is.
Checks out.
So do you know anything of the breakaway region of Transnistria?
Only what we've been told so far by the Baron, in that several years ago, a Russian splinter faction apparently took control of that region and has been holding the Moldovans and others there and controlling it ever since. Trying to retake it has been near impossible, it seems.
That is correct. Partly is because we try to be neutral country. We do not dive into the politics of other neighbors. We want to be solitary. We our people, we've had enough with the world wars. We do not wish to partake anymore. But Russia, being what they are, when the or how you say the Iron Curtain fell, that was our land. But the predominant, small predominancy of people who wish to stay part of Russia, they say no and invite the Soviet soldiers in. And we have big fight about this, try to kick them out. We are not nearly as able-bodied or experienced as the Russian forces. So they hold this territory. Thankfully, no country around recognizes it, but it still is big eyesore. It's also a source of black market items and problems that come into our country.
We're hoping that assisting will help us as well as your country, especially with stopping this black market trade and returning your people to you.
So, you are coming here through altruism, or are you seeking to be paid for such efforts?
We honestly seek no actual recompense. Our primary goal here is to stop whatever the Ubari are doing to the superpowered human beings that have been kidnapped and are being used as weapons. But it's clear that we would need to help you as well, because it's likely that this regime and the Ubari at least have some connection where they're helping each other. It would only make sense.
Well, unfortunately, our intelligence networks are not what they could be, because, again, Russia being more superior because they have access to so much more. It has been difficult to gain any sort of foothold or regular understanding of what goes beyond past our checkpoints. We only know what seems to trickle through. There has been, of course, spike in crime. There has been a rise in drug, how you say, the abuses. Also, illegal items we don't wish to have in the city, certain brands, so on and so forth. But the regrettable thing we have been seeing is there appears to be the how you say, the slave trade.
Yes, it seems that they have been focusing especially on empowered human beings, using them for slave labor elsewhere.
Now, this is no good. That we may remain neutral, but that is bad for our entire region. Unfortunately, we are not on so good of terms with Ukraine, who of course wish to stay out of it, and they have their aspirations to join NATO, so they have their other reasons for not acting. But this is bad overall.
Well, we are willing to assist as soon as possible, of course. As much information as you have in the area and of the regime would be much appreciated. We can act from there.
Then you wait here. I go to see what we can what we can come up with and provide you, and then you do what you Americans do best and revolt.
Understood. We will wait then.
And so he exits at this point. They've got a couple people here, and of course Crimson Soldat is still on hand just in case.
Should have asked him for some food.
Right.
I'm surprised you need more with how much you ate last night.
I'm hungry.
Billy just takes like a half step away from Hyperion.
You okay there, bud?
You don't say things like that, man.
I mean, we've probably got snacks in our bug out bags.
You do. You have meals in your bug out bags.
We have time to like prepare a meal. I guess they're MREs, huh?
They are.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like open and eat.
So you'll definitely have time for that when you get back to the ship.
Well, in the meantime, then she's going to take out one of the MRE fruit bars. She's just going
There
to
you go.
chomp on that without rehydrating it.
So you're going to go back to the vessel?
No, she's going to
the vessel.
Because you wouldn't have that readily on hand.
Okay, fine.
You know what?
She'll just be hangry.
I should keep some snacks in my first aid kit.
That would be a gross simplification of your quantum entanglement unit. You're like, I've got all this, and I have some little juicy squirts.
Check out these. These are called gushers.
Yeah, a little snack, little travel size snack baggie. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Welch's fruit snacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a granola bar.
And those little sugarless candies you used to get at the bank.
Yeah.
You guys will just hear her stomach growling.
Right.
But I mean, at this point, are all you doing is just waiting?
I guess we could. They leave the Crimson Soldat is here, right?
Are there soldiers around?
Yeah, he got
Are
back.
there
And
other
there
soldiers?
is one guy left in here, yes.
Okay.
Can we
so-
attempt to make conversation with them?
Sure, go ahead.
So Carmen or Lightbringer will say, "Your country is really beautiful."
So he kind of nervously smiles.
Do you have a name?
Billy asks him, "What kind of music do you like?"
So he nervously smiles.
Oh,
I don't believe he speaks English.
Yep.
And so when you mention English, he kind of shakes his head.
Billy starts playing some just rock, just not hardcore thrash or anything, just some rock, just kind of jamming a little bit.
Okay.
Keeps an eye on him, looks for any kind of reaction at all.
So he points at Billy at this point and he blurts out, "Bruce Springsteen."
Billy's like, Bruce Springsteen. Let's see. Tries to knock out. Oh, God.
Born in the USA.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because I was
That's
born
not
in East LA.
there you go. Cheech Marin. He won't understand me, so sure, why not?
Okay, so yeah, there is clearly a communications issue with him. He's just he's there on hand to assist for who knows what.
We really need to work on those translators.
That
You know,
would be
we've-
useful.
We've got one. It just it's limited by
Cumbersome.
the number of languages. Maybe we could figure out some kind of a universal translation, though.
Well, yeah. Kind of like what they have like on Star Trek.
Interesting.
It's either that or you guys get a bunch of Rosetta Stones and start plugging it into our communicators.
Yeah, the current device is limited to, I think.
And I also found something called Babblefish.
What is that?
It's a translator. It has several different countries on it.
Hyperion, we can always see about duplicating the technology in my ship, though my translator in my ship is limited to the extraterrestrial races. It would be capable of housing additional languages. If we were to pattern after that, we could essentially, perhaps even with some of the nanotechnology that I've been able to derive, we may be able to have a pocket translator.
That would be nice.
And
I
the
agree.
guy you're waiting with is just kind of watching this because again he doesn't understand English well enough to follow what you guys are talking about. But then he starts snapping his fingers, like he's remembering something. He starts reaching into his coat. And by the way, this guy is wearing like an actual uniform, like he's a military man. So he's got the overcoat and his hat, and his rifle's off to the side though. He's not actually like wielding it. And then he reaches in and pulls out basically a Polaroid. A picture, and then he starts pointing at it, and then he points at Lightbringer.
You got to be kidding me.
And he's saying something, in again another language, in Romanian.
Billy walks over and looks at the photo.
He wants to take a picture with me.
It's actually the picture is of a little girl who has a lunchbox. The lunchbox, however, has Lightbringer on it, kind of doing one of those Superman poses.
Right.
Oh.
Billy's like, you gotta see this. Check it.
Do we have? Oh, he didn't. So he doesn't have a camera with him. He just
No. He just had. It's a picture of probably somebody close to him, maybe his little girl or somebody he knows.
Shoot, I don't have any way to get a picture to him.
Could you perhaps use a pen and sign your autograph on his picture?
Oh, sure. Does anyone have a pen?
Oh, sure. Let me just reach into my breast pocket here.
So looking around.
So Carmen will point to the picture, and then she'll mimic like a signature.
Out of character, I manifest one like out of my body.
Ew.
It's all goopy.
What is this?
So
Slide it in.
he kind of gets what you're getting at, but he still looks a little confused, and so he produces a pin. He has one.
She will take the pen and point to herself and then the picture. Would you like me to sign the picture?
He looks kind of confused.
Oh, just sign it already.
Mosh Pit, can you use your phone to translate?
Oh. Yeah, hang on. Mosh Pit digs out the phone, opens up the app, holds it up to Lightbringer.
Would you like me to sign your picture?
The guy at this point's looking at it like, whoa.
Click.
And so he
Shows it to him.
And so he looks down at it, and he looks back up at you, and then he starts speaking in your Romanian, like he's just rattling off in Romanian and pointing at the device, and it's clear that he seems he's excited about the device and just like blown away that it can text to speak, your sort of thing,
right?
Puts it down for him, and so then he just starts nodding, nodding his head and whatnot, yes.
So she'll take the picture and sign it and hand it back.
Okay. And so he's like looking at it, does a shake of it real quick to help the ink to dry, and he's just kind of looking. Whoa.
And she'll offer to shake his hand.
He shakes your hand. And are you still using your phone at this point, Billy?
I have it in my hand.
Okay. So as he's talking to Lightbringer, of course he's rattling off in another language, and it's hard to keep up. But the phone picks up parts of what he's saying, and in essence, it sounds like he said he didn't expect that. He was ultimately just showing her the picture because he recognized her.
Yeah.
But he says he's going to give it to his little girl.
Oh, cool. So I relay that to Lightbringer.
And Carmen will say, "I'm honored. Thank you."
Billy shows that to back to the dude.
And so he nods and without speaking per se, he does like the like the flight sort of thing, and he's like, and he motions with his fingers on his eyes. He's like, pew pew pew. Mimicking kind of like what Lightbringer does with her, radiation and whatnot.
They don't come out of my eyes.
They can.
Can they?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many years did you just found that out?
No.
Yeah. 2 years.
Bum, bum, bum. And eventually, Mr. Agadati comes back at this point. The guy, stands a little bit more at attention and makes himself more presentable so it doesn't look like he's fangirling. And so, he walks in and he says, so my government is concerned at what it is you are proposing. We're not exactly against it, but we want to know more how you propose to do this.
That will depend on the information you have on the regime. If they have some sort of simple hierarchy that can be damaged, causing the rest to either surrender or retreat, then we may be able to either convince them to throw down their arms or apprehend them so that their command structure is no more, and the rest of the forces would be forced to then obey commands such as leaving the country.
Out of character. And then if that fails, we're going in devil dog style. Kill them all and let God sort them out.
Yeah, maybe don't say that.
Aw.
Okay, 1 second.
Billy's phone is still going.
So at this point he says, well, we can tell you who leads the Russian forces here, sort of the head of the head of their military occupational forces. We believe they have hand in the Transnistrian government situation, or what they deem as their government, but they are likely backed up by FSB, and we do not know who they are.
Backed by FSB, who would this be?
Well,
That's the Soviet military, right?
the
The SS.
The FSB is like they're like your CIA.
Oh, right.
They are spy agency. They used to be KGB. Many of them did. They are now FSB. The individual you're looking for is General Pyotr Yanovich.
You're gonna have to spell that one out for me, man.
Am I?
I'm not gonna be able to get that one. It's like spelling criticos.
Oh, PYOTR.
Yep. And that was general, right?
Yep. Ileana, my little snowflake, I have come to America to buy hot dog for 50 cents cash money.
I'm glad you guys can't hear what's going on in my front room right now, because my son evidently found out that there is a song called Jingle Fragments.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
And I'm hearing this through the door ever so slightly.
Your poor wife.
Yeah.
So, but he says General Yanovich is in control of occupational forces. They number roughly, from what we believe, at about 15,000.
Understood. But you know General Yanovich's approximate location or where he typically posts himself?
No, we do not.
Understood. Something we'll need to determine. All right. Do you know what other types of forces they have beyond the 15,000 troops? Is their weapons technology similar to yours, or should we expect something else?
Oh no. Their military is very similar to, well, better, but they are similar to us. They of course have the best AKs. I'm certain they have the tanks, light machine guns, that sort of thing. The FSB is the one you're going to need to worry about, the intelligence agency. If you can find out who he or she is, that will probably tell you who they have their hooks into. And no doubt Piotr knows who that is.
Understood. And the goal, of course, will be for us to first find General Pyotr Yanovich, obtain information from him related to who is a part of the FSB, and locate that individual. Is there any other information regarding this regime you happen to have that you think might be useful?
You may wish to go undercover. I don't know if you want to go parading around in your tights, letting them know that America is here to right the wrongs. Although I do not mind. It takes the tension off us.
Understood. That was our initial idea, was to be clandestine in our efforts of entering the country. Would there be any specific location we could enter Transnistria that you think would be the stealthiest for us?
Oh yes, we can definitely help with that. We can just walk you through our porta gates.
That works.
Easy peasy. I guess
That
getting out is
that
gonna
way
be
when
more of an
people
issue.
see you come across, they just think you're there to do business or whatever that is. If you try to sneak across the border and someone sees you, then obviously you're up to nefarious means.
Excellent. We have, in preparation for this operation, obtained some clothing for the region, but would you suggest that we enter with other clothing that perhaps you might have?
Oh, what type of clothing do you have?
And he looks to Shone.
She'll describe what she got.
Okay. So this is Polish ghetto clothing. We don't wear that here no more.
Yeah, the information was limited.
My suggestion would be to wear what you wear in America. Look like tourist.
Understood.
I mean, it makes you stand out as American, but then again, who cares?
Okay.
But I mean, if you wish to go looking like you're from Polish ghetto, go ahead. And who am I to say no?
We'll clearly take your idea into consideration. That may be what we try. Do you know what their viewpoint is towards Americans or towards outsiders of their country or their area?
Oh, the people calling themselves Transnistria, oh, they want all the attention. It brings them business. They want international recognition, which they don't get.
I see. Well, with that then, and he looks at the team, any other questions before we change clothing and head out?
No.
All right. Well then, we'll need to head to a location, change into civilian American clothing, and then if you're able to show us where at the border we can cross safely, we'll begin our operation.
Of course, of course. I have one question. One question first. And he points at Lightbringer and he says, "Is it true you have what you call plastic doll?"
An action figure.
Oh, is that what they call them? That sounds kind of
yes.
masculine.
I do have an action figure.
So he kind of slaps his knee for a second, and I owe somebody some money. Do you happen to have any?
Not on hand. I don't usually go on operations with my own merchandise.
Of course. It's understandable. It's just there was a little girl who had heard of it. How do you say? Is it through the melon vine?
The grapevine.
Grapevine.
Oh,
Would you like me to send one to you?
of course. If it is no trouble, it would be nice. Yes, we would give some to the kids.
Sure, I can do that.
And other question. This one from my country. Priorities, of course. Asking for Dolly first, and then country. He says. So this other person who is we had some people do some looking up of your people. You have Rocket Man who isn't here. He works for Quantum Unlimited.
That's correct. That would be Angler, the last member of our team.
So since we know you have access clearly to higher technology, what could we do to entice corporation to come over, set up shop?
After our operation here is complete and we return back to the States, we can see what we can do about reaching out to the Moldovans to begin negotiations for Quantum Unlimited, if that's something that your government would like to pursue.
My government has wished me to express interest in this. As we are neutral country, we do not ascribe to the NATO regulations and whatnot. So obviously, things will be much more lax here. We wish to be known for more than just our fine wine. If for no other reason than home defense.
Understood. We will definitely reach out to you once we're able to return. Well, it seems that we can be ready to go once we change into our new gear and clothing. Afterwards, we'll travel.
Are we going to do that back at the ship?
We can, exactly. That way we can also inform Angler of what we plan to do.
Yeah, and I could get something to eat.
That as well.
Good. Then we will see you back to your vessel, and then let us know when you are ready to commence, and we will get you across the border.
Excellent. Yeah, then goes ahead and follows them back to the ship.
Okay, so hey, Derek, you're still really loud. Like there's a lot of hiss in the background, like you cranked your mic way up.
I've been on that. my headset mute. So I will.
No, it just we're picking up more audio than normal than we would.
Right. Okay.
You might want to toggle your audio options and see if that fixes anything.
So, yeah, Davy Jones is.
You're
So,
never around when I need you.
all right. So you eventually make your way back to the craft to break into the snacks. Han, of course, looking confused and not fully understanding what's going on.
Are we going to take Han with us?
That could be inherently dangerous. Even though he does have powers, I'm not quite sure if it would be responsible to take him with, since he doesn't seem to have any combat training. We could clarify, as long as we have access to Mosh Pit's device for translation. If you're willing to translate, and he then walks over to Han. Han, have you ever been in a fight before?
Okay, so it's
Moshpit digs out the phone and
yeah. So it
Does the translating
translates from Mosh's phone, and then he kind of looks at it, and he speaks, but he's shaking his head no. Yeah, he's never been in any fight. And when he continues to speak, ultimately what you have learned is that he wasn't a part of the military, and that's the only place you'd really learn how to fight in North Korea.
Okay.
We could be gone for a couple of days, so what are we going to do with him?
Right, and in the event that something did happen to us, he's
I would feel better if I could teleport him and meet Angler with him, and Angler could maybe take him over to the office.
And so then Hyperion looks to Han for translation. It was the United States of America you were attempting to go to. Is that correct, Han?
Oh yeah. He's nodding. That's where he was trying to get to. Yes.
Then he turns back to the rest. Yes. Then it would make sense, Shone, if you're able to teleport him back. It doesn't seem as if we're in an anti-teleportation field. We should communicate with Angler to make sure he can meet with you.
How about the roof of
The Aegis
my-
Foundation?
thank you, Dale. My brain went blank. The roof of the foundation.
Of course. Hyperion to Angler. Do you read?
Angler here. He'll
Angler.
turn down the music.
Get Freebird on, right?
it's
No.
Kenny G, actually.
Can you?
Actually, it's high tempo aerobic music.
There you
Lovely.
Got some
Uh-oh.
jazzercise on.
go. You're right.
Let's get physical. I want to get physical.
If he's doing the dancing too, that's a frightening thought.
So Hyperion, he continues. Yes, hopefully you're doing well. We ourselves have made some progress, but we have obtained a refugee, a North Korean named Han. He would like to make his way to the United States. So we plan on having him teleported along with Shone to the top of the Aegis Foundation building. Would you be able to meet them there?
Yeah, not a problem. Give me about 20 minutes, long enough to take a shower and fly over there.
Excellent. Once you're
Shaved
there,
out of his
communicate with us,
leggings and
and
tights.
once you make it there, let us know, and we'll make sure that Shone arrives with Han.
Oh, let him know that he's got powers.
Yes, he does apparently have at least one set of superpowers. Therefore, it may make sense for him to actually get in contact with the Aegis Foundation. Perhaps they can help him with employment and becoming naturalized.
If he is, I don't know how you collected a Korean,
It's a long story.
Yeah,
but
it's a long story, and he doesn't speak English, so you're going to need a translator.
if he is, what's his situation? The short story of it.
He was sold into slavery and then captured by the government, of the Baron.
Was he escaping North Korea?
Yes.
He was. He was attempting to leave their oppressive regime and then was captured, had been taken
Wonderful.
to Transnistria.
Just forgot the word. Just forgot the word.
Begins with an A.
Asylum.
There you go.
He said, yeah, he knew what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure he knows the word asylum.
So that he can officially request it when he arrives.
Yes.
Okay,
Understood.
hurry up and take your shower. We don't have a lot of time.
Before he will disconnect, he will give Aegis a call.
Okay.
And he will let them know that he will be arriving in about 20 minutes on their rooftop with a asylum seeker who is empowered.
Okay. They'll have cuffs on hand just in case.
And if someone is able to translate Korean, even better.
Yeah, when you communicate with Aegis Foundation, it's like, yeah, we can find somebody to help with that. I don't know if we can do that in the window you're asking for, but we do have people on hand that could eventually help.
All right. See you in about 17 minutes.
Okay.
Does
He'll
ship have a
shout.
printer? Oh, go ahead.
He'll shower and then he'll head over.
Okay.
Does ship have a printer?
Good question. Yeah, probably
not. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Hyperion would then be like, so we'll need to make sure to teach him at least one English phrase. I wish to seek for asylum in the United States of America.
So I was thinking we just hand him a letter that he could then hand to whoever.
That would work.
I'm not sure what the how it's supposed to work. Whether they need to say it or
as long as I think he knows the word asylum and shows them the letter where we tell them he is seeking asylum from North Korea because he doesn't speak English. As long as he says asylum, maybe that'll be enough. I mean, you can try to teach him that whole phrase. That might be a little rough.
It's likely that the Aegis Foundation it's likely the Aegis Foundation would be willing to assist him. They have shown that they've been cordial in the past, especially with the interdimensional refugees.
Well, in the Argentinians that we took over.
Precisely. Let's see. Would there be, Jerome, any like paper or anything we could write something down on right here?
Not here, but if you went outside and asked one of the soldiers for like scrap paper or something,
okay,
I'm sure they could produce something for you.
Gotcha.
Like an old ad or something. You know, one side's blank, the other side's advertising something in Romanian.
Right. So then Hyperion will relay this through the phone, of course, to Han, what our general plan is, that he's going to be teleported and all of that jazz, talking to Aegis Foundation, and we're going to give him a thing to read off. then I peer in, make sure everyone gets in their civilian outfits.
Okay.
Aegis is gonna get the paper and be like, "Why is this written in Romanian?" On the other side.
Why are they trying to sell us dishwashers? Okay, so
Mosh Pit will take the phone and walk out to one of the guards outside and ask for paper and
Sure.
a pen.
Cool.
Yeah, they're able to come up with something that they have on hand. It's
Okay.
makeshift, much like I said, like it's some sort of like ad or something that's blank on one side and advertising something Romanian on the other, that and a pen or pencil, I should say.
It's a receipt from CVS.
So
Yeah,
before
exactly, yeah.
3 miles long.
so before everyone starts changing into their civilian clothes, she is going to teleport with him
Okay.
and arrive on the roof.
Okay, so you appear. There's actually 3 Aegis Foundation reps in full gear and whatnot, waiting on front or waiting on the top. They've got cuffs ready just in case. And shortly after you teleport, you can hear the angler come flying up as he's rocketing through the sky. With the sound of his thrusters that his rocket power makes, and he lands on the rooftop.
Sean's going to let him know that he's not hostile and she doesn't feel that the cuffs are going to be necessary, especially since he's already gone through the trauma of being a prisoner.
Yes, because there's never been a spy in history that's accidentally been caught. I appreciate the concern.
Yeah.
But Aegis is still going to take their safety as a number 1 priority, and you know that.
She's actually talking to the Aegis agent. She's not talking to her brother. She told him he's not a threat. He's already gone through the trauma of being kidnapped, sold, and then imprisoned. And he's seeking asylum.
They say, we understand, ma'am. We have a protocol to follow until we can ensure that he isn't an active threat to anyone in the building.
Do you have somebody that can translate that to him so he doesn't think that he's been hoodwinked?
No, we do not. We were given roughly 20 minutes to prepare for this.
I should have brought his phone. Okay. Well, I got to get back. She'll give Angler a hug and then she's gone.
Okay, so I mean, this guy's standing around and didn't quite understand how he got from point A to point B so fast. Now, he's about ready to be, put in handcuffs, and he's like taking a step back from the guys.
He'll reach out with his mind.
Okay.
And because he knows he can't communicate through words, he communicates through images.
I don't know if telepathy will let you do that. Let's take a look. Marvel. And Powers Guide. Blink. Don't show that again. Nope. Lots of things referencing telepathy. Danger sense. Danger.
In case that doesn't work, when Sean reappears, she is going to look at Billy and ask him to translate to Angler
There we go.
the words in Korean to explain to them that he's not being arrested. This is just precaution.
Jinx.
Yeah.
So telepathy, communicate direct mind-to-mind basis. Okay, so it wasn't specified, so the only way we've been playing it so far is communicating through words, so that's where we're going to keep that limited then.
So Sean will have Billy translate that to Angler so Angler can explain to Han.
Well, you
But
don't
he's
know that
not.
that's actually happening right now. You've already blinked out.
Right, but she come back and she knows that they're going to put him in handcuffs because they just told her. So she just wants the guy not to freak out.
All right. So Billy will do his best to translate that and communicate that to Angler.
So
Basically, he's trying to do it phonetically, for lack of a better word.
Put the words temporary and precautionary in it. Temporary
Actually,
and
that's a
precautionary.
really good idea.
I'm trying
Billy's
to
not
figure
gonna
out
do his sentences.
how you guys are doing this. So
So in the
show
Yeah.
is
It's like-
teleporting
No. This won't
It's
work.
like a
This
big game
won't-
of telephone.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
this won't work because
With an
Billy
actual
can't read
telephone.
Korean, so it doesn't matter.
So Hyperion would go, is it possible for you, Shown, to simply take the phone back there for a moment to translate to him what's happening there?
Yeah.
Billy's like, there you go.
So she'll poof back.
Okay,
Temporary
so
and
I mean, so Angler, what are you doing in this interim right now while they're getting the phone or discussing this? Because you were attempting to do telepathy.
Yeah, when I realized that I do not have both the power of visual and verbal, he'll actually just mouth the words for our protection, safety reasons.
Okay.
Say it slow
Asylum.
and
He'll say the word
Try
asylum.
saying it louder.
loud, but slower too.
Yeah.
That is not how he learned Russian. He would not do that.
Pretty much how you sound like them.
Como está usted? Muy bien.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
so you are trying to communicate to him. He's backing away from the guards. They're trying not to make direct advances, but they are approaching. Because they have to put the cuffs on him. Shown eventually pops back, and she's got the phone.
Okay. So she'll speak into the phone,
Okay, give me
explaining
a reason
to
check.
him that this is just for precautionary. They're not trying to harm him or imprison him.
Go
It's
ahead.
just for
That's fine. Go ahead and give me a reason check.
everyone's safety.
This is the first time you've used a phone
Yep.
from an alternate dimension in your future.
Yeah.
reason. Okay, amazing.
an extra smartphone.
Pretty much.
That new Crusher would like to see it.
Wow.
Red,
Okay.
woo! I've been paying attention.
She clearly has. So you navigate through the apps as odd as it seems, and of course it's touch screen and whatnot. So even that's really weird, but you figure out that you need to hold the button down, talk, and then it generates. And so you were saying what again?
She's going to explain to him that he's not under arrest and they don't mean him any harm. This is just regulations. It's for precaution and safety, but they will assist him in getting asylum.
Okay, and so then you relay that to him in Korean. He's just, he's still very wary about it, but he goes along with it at this point, and they put the shackles on him and start leading him below.
Okay. And then she'll just salute to her brother one more time and poof back.
Angler will stay with Han.
Okay.
So once she gets back to the ship, then she'll change
Alrighty.
and give Billy back his phone.
Yeah. So Angler, as you're walking down there, they basically have a and you've seen this before. They have a detention area where they kept that other guy at. And so they've got him sitting in this cell for the time being. While they're working out the details, and of course getting the State Department on the phone, letting them know that there's an asylum seeker that's here who's also a deviant, and so on
He
and
does
so
this
forth.
number. Have you eaten?
So he looks a little confused and kind of does the same thing that you're doing.
Rice, kimchi.
So he shakes his head no at that point.
He's gonna take that to mean that he's eaten in
Okay.
the past 12 hours.
Okay.
The only thing he knows, he knows one other word: bulgogi.
Yum.
So he
It's-
nods.
He'll step away and he'll speak with one of the guards. Can we get him something to eat?
Como está Bulgogi?
Jeez.
I don't know how he was treated before he got here, but I don't know if he's eaten, and if Hyperion thought it was wise to make sure he gets fed asylum, I think it would be a good idea for us to treat him well.
So one of the guards is like, we've got some people working on it. Again, you kind of dropped this in our lap, so I don't know how long that's going to be, but it's on the schedule, sir.
All right. I just want to make sure he gets fed. They kind of dropped it in. The rest of the team dropped it in on my lap as well. It's like, hey, we've got this guy. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go back inside, and he'll sit down. He would not know mahjong.
Are you
I'm trying to think of things.
You're trying to find all the stereotypical Asian trope games or something to do at this point?
My grandma was Taiwanese, and she would sit down and destroy all of us at the same time playing mahjong.
Nice.
That's not just a stereotypical thing.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, but that's what you're trying to think. You're like, oh, think Asian, think mahjong, bulgogi, kimchi.
Words he can pronounce.
No. Okay, you're gonna bond over food and games.
And he doesn't know if the guy knows how to play poker.
Right. So while you are kicking yourself trying to figure out what to do to communicate with this person on an individual level, give me a psyche check.
Psyche.
It's the pay.
That is not psycho.
Well, it depends.
Okay, psyche is amazing. Yellow feet.
Okie dokie. So you're deep in thought at this point, trying to figure out just what you can do to bond with this guy or entertain him or whatever it is that you're trying to do as you deep dive in your own brain of all things Asian.
He was Russian counterintelligence.
Because that has so much to do with Asia. So, at any rate,
Technically, yes.
as you are thinking,
Russians are Asians. Just saying.
depends on which side of the nation you're on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Right.
Ah.
So, with that being said, then you are you're deep in thought, trying to figure out what you could do to bond with this guy, or whatever, feed him, whatever it is. when you start, you've been stressed, and this is in character, you've kind of been stressing a lot over the alien aspect of, somebody coming down and tearing stuff up on a global scale, Terax, or I should say Tyrax, the tyrant, returning one day with alien forces and taking over everything. And so you start mulling over what the professor had talked to you about with the crown and the trident, which you of course have had no luck whatsoever getting any help with, outside of talking to the professor. And the first thing that you think of is that you had that clue that it was supposed to be in the Pacific, or there was this island or something of that nature. And the next thing you start kind of rolling over in your head, just trying to think of anything in general that might have been tied to that, that whole ordeal. You seem to recall there being it was a statue in San Francisco that had a trident on it. Somebody had did like a work of art. They were trying to be celebratory of first contact with Atlantis sort of thing, and they were showing it off at that time in San Francisco at an art museum. Real elaborate piece and whatnot. But the trident was actually made out of metal. It wasn't actually made out of granite like the rest of it was.
Interesting. Of course, it's going to be difficult.
It's a long shot. It's a long shot and a half because, you don't have a great description of what the trident is supposed to look like. But if this was supposedly, celebratory of first contact with Atlantis, maybe there was a hint there, or something you could work with. I mean, where did he get his inspiration from? Did he just choose generic Greek or what?
You actually took the words out of my brain.
That's telepathy.
Or experience. Who knows? It might be one and the same. But yeah, he'll while he's mulling that over, he actually stays with Han.
Okay.
That way he's not alone in the cell by himself.
Sure. Okay. All right.
He'll make sure to get him some water too, because water is something he can get him.
Yes, that's fine. Okay. And that so with you guys at this point getting dressed into civvies and reasonably trying to obscure your identity with Lightbringer's power, you at this point, they take you to the checkpoint, which goes into what the locals have called Transnistria. Moldova doesn't recognize it, obviously, so they don't call it that. But as you approach those checkpoints, you can see there's all kinds of signs, warning people, don't go here. That the law enforcement doesn't have any capability of going in. Signs warning you for your safety, so on and so forth, because radicals have taken over this area, so on and so forth. And that's all in real life too. And then that's where we're going to end for the evening, with you guys crossing over. So we're going to do two things before we wrap. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll for Thanksgiving. Ooh. So would somebody like to roll a D10?
I can.
Okay.
Ugh. A 1.
All right.
Use your reroll.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
just re-roll for that.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let you re-roll that because that would just be
Okay.
times 5, and that wouldn't
Come on, be
exactly
nice to me.
exciting.
That's better.
There we
Or
go.
times 50, I should say.
8.
So 8 times 50
400.
400.
400.
400.
times
And then
6.
that's 2,400.
Okay. Somebody else like to roll a d10? This is to celebrate. I should have done this before, but to celebrate over 2 years gaming with this particular gaming group.
That's right.
Nice.
Booyah!
I can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay, be nice to Dale.
We do it now.
Do it now.
One. Reroll.
You're supposed
Oh
to
my.
tell it, be nice.
I'll let you re-roll that.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Dice
you have to
roller.
It's an 8. Come on
Be
now.
nice. 4.
See?
Okay, well, that's
4.
better. Okay. So that 4, that's also times 50?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 200.
Per year.
Right.
No.
That's 200, and then
worth
times
a
6, another 1,200. So then 1,200 plus 2,400, we got a total of 3,600.
Nice.
Cool, and that's
From
added to
that.
what we currently have. So then
3,600.
Who's next in the lineup?
it's still currently me. So I guess I should figure that out.
7,800 now?
Hold your action.
Yeah, let's see. Well, we
Hold.
currently have a. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we can put 100 back into the available carbon. And then
You
300.
should have had approximately, because that's what I put that in my notes. 4,200, give or take 100 or so, because I know we spent some, but yeah,
We
it should
actually,
be pretty clear.
yeah, we currently had 7,970 because of all what we got before. And
Oh,
so
okay.
then add that to 3,500. So we now have 11,470 banked karma.
Nice.
Oh, because we got a total 4,200 just from last time. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what our total was. Oh.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll figure out what to improve tonight or tomorrow, and I'll send that over through the chat.
Okay. Cool.
Who's next?
After me, it's going to be Justin.
All right. I'll think about something.
Cool.
So cool. So our next game after this is going to be Cyberpunk on the 29th, which will be at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Then we're going to have Street Fighter on Thursday, the 30th, same time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then December the 2nd, we're going to have Blood Ties, or I can't say Marvel, our Ashland by Night Blood Ties game. That's going to start at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always have fun gaming with you guys, throwing you for curveballs. Because of
good at it.
course.
Because of course.
So thank you guys for everyone who tuned in and checked us out, whether you stayed silent or actually chatted with us. Because I know Diminutive Demon out there watches, but doesn't always chat. But that's fine.
Lurker.
Good night, Davey.
He's a lurker. Yep. And good night, Davey. We will see you next time. So take it easy, guys. Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.